Ascension Amal. The people here, inshallah, should be the ones who already are doing the Ascension and are able to transfer. So if you are not one of those people, then really there's Brother Shalom upstairs who will go through the normal muraqbah and meditation with you, and he will explain this to you as well. So, brother, is yourself upstairs, if that's okay? So, inshallah, otherwise, because everyone's level and ability is different, it's like teaching university lecture to someone who's in high school. You'll sit here, but you won't understand, inshallah. So, this is the case. So, if the lights can be turned off now as well, inshallah, if they can do this, jazakallah. First thing I want to say, inshallah, before we begin this is that one of the greatest obstacles that a person has in them reaching Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Baya, Brother Abdurrahim, if you can, are you upstairs or you can join us, whichever, here or upstairs? Will you be seeing? That's fine, that's fine. So if you can complete this semicircle, inshallah. So for those of you who are now advancing on the Ascension, one of the greatest things that you need to understand is that there is a great obstacle between us and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's one of the purpose of this Itekaf, is to find that obstacle and rectify it and fix it. But one of the greatest obstacles which will never really go is the nafs inside me and you. And this nafs, some of you have this misconception inside you that when I do the Ascension and I transfer in the spiritual world, I should be now somehow enjoying this world, and there shouldn't be difficulty anymore. This is a shaitanic thought that he puts inside you. Why is there still difficulty? Why is there still tests? There are still tests because you haven't died yet. If you had died and you had passed away, there would be no issues with the wife, though, and for the wife, the husband. There would be no issues with finance. There would be no issues with boredom. You know, some people are able, I speak to some of you who can transfer in the other world and you're present there, but you don't want to do it. Why? Because the nafs isn't enjoying. You see, when you say that I've lost interest and so on, it's not you that's lost interest. It's the nafs that has lost interest. Because when you transfer in the spiritual world, the nafs isn't the one that enjoys that. It's the spirit that enjoys this. But the nafs enjoys this world. So the nafs enjoys the eyes, the ears, the hands, the things which it receives with these things. It enjoys the evil thoughts with the mind. It enjoys having evil feelings and good feelings towards other people. It enjoys thinking, oh, look at this car and I should have this car. The nafs enjoys the jealousy. You get tortured by it, but the nafs enjoys it. So what I'm saying is that you should realize that on this journey ascending, the lower the nafs goes, the higher your spirit goes. And if you cannot do the mujahada against the nafs, then your spirit will never fly higher and higher. And if you think that the nafs, the mujahada of the nafs ends, then you have thought wrong. And you need to change your mindset. When the mashayikh became of a higher status level, like Sayyidina Abdul Aziz Rahimahullah and Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani Rahimahullah, they didn't do less mujahada, they rather did more. They did more mujahada against the nafs, not because it was alive and kicking. In me and you it might be alive and kicking, but they kept it low. They kept it so low, so weak, that it was like a slave to them. It was their slave to them. And if me and you are not doing this and behaving with the nafs inside you as though it is your enemy and it is your slave, then this journey is not going to excel. And many of you now, maybe 1, 2 years, 3 years, you've been doing this. If you're thinking, why am I not excelling? Well, ask yourself, what's your relationship with the nafs? What relationship do you have? Tell me about that, and then inshallah we'll see where the problem lies, and the problem will most likely be there. Either it will be in the first, second, third stage, or it will be with the nafs. When these four things are resolved, then there can be no problem with the ascension journey. So has everyone understood this point? Colleague Paul, does that make sense? Okay. Anybody else? Professor Dr. Aziz, does it make sense? Uncle Ramzan? To nail the nafs, you don't need to know where the nafs is. Where the nafs is irrelevant. It's like saying to eat, do I need to know where the stomach is? I just need to know where the mouth is. So you need to know where one position is, but not all positions. So the nafs uses all parts of the body. It uses your eyes, ears, hands, feet, stomach. I'll give you an example. Yesterday, and hopefully this brother will receive this message, when the Imam was reciting and forgetting a few times, every human being forgets. All human beings forget. And this is the right reaction. When the Imam leads the prayer, how is your nafs reacting then? So now I'm giving you an example. How is your nafs reacting when the Imam is forgetting? Is your nafs thinking, oh, look, this is funny. One person said to me yesterday, in the middle of Taraweeh, in between, this is funny. And I looked down and with disgust and nodded my head. But if you're thinking the Imam forgetting is funny, this is a sign of an quality, an evil quality called spite. And spite has two parts to it. One is to enjoy the misfortunes of another person, or to be happy to be happy at their misfortune, or to be sad at their success. So if you're laughing at the Imam forgetting, you're enjoying his weakness. Who is this really enjoying the weakness? It's the nafs inside you. Now where is that enjoyment? Doesn't matter where it is. Is it in my eyes, ears, hands, heart? It doesn't really matter. What it matters is that, are you fighting it? Are you suppressing it? And the easy way to understand this is like anger. When you're angry, you can suppress anger. You know that you can suppress anger. We all go through anger. So similarly, when you are feeling this evil quality inside you, oh, he's forgetting, I'm enjoying it, then you should be worried that what an evil quality is inside me. It's one of the worst qualities, potentially worse than jealousy. So, to be happy at someone else's misfortune and to be unhappy at their success. So what you should be doing is suppressing that inside you as a minimum. And at least if the person is going to say something, they should say something good. But to say something worse, that is this not funny, this is funny. To say something like this, you've manifested the spite with your body now, with your tongue. So spite has now manifested, and the person, that now it's not only the nafs that has the quality, it's the person has the quality. If you suppressed it and you fought it, Allah Azza wa Jal will not judge you that you had this quality. You had this evil. Allah will say rather your nafs had it, you didn't have it, because you fought it. But when you manifest it, jealousy, you scratch the person's car, I should have the car, he shouldn't have it. Or spite, I'm laughing at the Imam for forgetting. When you manifest it, now Allah will class you have this evil quality. And the hadith becomes subject on you, that applying on you, the one with an atom weight of arrogance will not enter paradise. You've manifested arrogance. The person who jealousy burns good deed like fire burns wood, you've manifested jealousy, then you have jealousy. But if you fought it inside you, you wouldn't have it. You wouldn't be classed as having it. You might be going through 20, 30 days of torture inside, fighting it, but Allah Azza wa Jalla will not class you that you have jealousy because you're fighting it. So the question that you need to ask really, not is where is how do I fight it? How do I get rid of it? And until we take this more seriously, I would be more scared and more worried that I had jealousy than if I had cancer. That's your mindset needs to become. If I have cancer, I'm not really that bothered. We all have to die one day. But if I have jealousy, I don't want to die now. I can't look forward to death. Because if I die with that, what a sad death this will be. So there should be more worry about dying with these things than there should be about cancer. So this is the mindset that we want to attain, inshallah. But this is one obstacle that many of us face, and we don't know that we're facing that. And so the next time, those of you who feel bored, especially, you should realize this, because it's not me that feels bored. It's the nafs that feels bored. And in Itekaf, this happens. After Asr, you're tired, you want to eat, you want to rest. Resting is fine, the body and the nafs has a right to rest. But there is a time when you feel bored in the amal itself. Now, who can tell me here, what is the right reaction when you feel bored in the amal? Who can tell me that? Who can? Yes, brother. Okay, mashallah, that's correct. That's one of the right reactions. Continue with it whether you feel like doing it or not. That's one right reaction. What else is a right reaction? So this is the reaction with the body. Now I want a reaction with the mind and a reaction with the heart. Okay, mashallah, so this is one with the mind, that I am doing this for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm not doing it for me or for anyone else. So this is one good thought with the mind. Any others? Any other good right reactions? Yes, Brother Graham. Yes, mashallah. So this is coming to the part where the battle within. This is so what Brother Ibrahim mentioned is that it realize that it's not me that feels bored, it's the nafs that feels bored, and now you have an internal communication with it. And you say that, oh nafs, you're bored, but I don't worship you. I worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whether you're bored or not, I'm still going to carry on. And the more bored you are, the more tired you are, the more upset you are that I'm doing this, I'm going to carry on because I want you to be more upset. I want you to be more weak. I want you to be more tired. And when the nafs, when you speak to it like that and you do this to it, then and this is your chance in Itekaf to do this. That's why there's so much ibadat and worship. It's not just that you're worshipping, you're really battling the nafs in these 10 days. Why is shaitan locked up and the major shayateen? So that you can focus on tazkiyah nafs. Focus on this. Why is Itekaf 10 days here? So you can come and seclude and fight internal battle with the nafs. No people to battle. There's no people here. Yes, there's other people in Itekaf. Normally Itekaf is you have your own tent. There's no people or creation. There's just you and the nafs. The nafs hasn't gone. So realize this. Now, what I want you to begin doing is that you have this internal dialogue and communication with the nafs. Next time you find yourself feeling, I'm tired, I'm bored, I'm upset, I want to go home, whatever it is, fight the evil, the nafs inside you, and put up a challenge to it. I'll give you an example. When I came here now, my nafs didn't want to do this, but rather I said to it that if I don't want to do this, if the nafs doesn't want to do this because something's happened at home or somewhere else, then I'm giving into the nafs. I'm giving into the nafs. But if I go against it, I'm not giving into the nafs, I'm battling it. It doesn't want to sit here, therefore I sit here. And if it wants to sit here, I won't sit here. So you do the opposite of what the nafs does, nafs wants, as long as it's within Sharia limits, of course, then you begin on the process of purification. But if you're doing the thing which the nafs wants you to do, then you've become a slave to the nafs. So you heard 3 different reactions. A thought with the mind, that with the body, I'm going to carry on even I don't want to carry on. I'm going to do more. So the even better reaction is when you find in the prayer that you don't want to do the prayer, what's the right reaction then? You don't feel like praying. Who could tell me what's the right reaction now? Yes. One of the best reactions is that you do more. You don't feel like, the minimum Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from you is that you at least do the faraid and the necessary wajib and sunnat muakkada and so on. But if you really don't feel like it, then tell yourself, oh nafs, you don't feel like praying. I'm going to pray more. Now, I'm going to pray more. So this is something which I can say to the brothers here, because you're on the Ascension, you've been here for a long time now. This is time for you to realize this and manifest this. But especially with regards to the sins, disobedience, obedience of Allah, and with regards to the amals that you've been given. So when you say, oh, I don't do the Ascension 7 days a week anymore, I do it 2-3 times. Who is it really speaking? Who is the one speaking? You or the nafs? If it was you that really wanted Allah, you'd be doing it not every day. You'd be doing khalwat once a week and 2 days a month, and you might do itikaf 10 days rather than 10, like you heard Holy Prophet ﷺ, 20 days in 1 year. But if it was the nafs speaking, then I only do 2-3 days now. Why? Ask yourself why. Why have I decreased it? Why am I not taking it seriously? Is it me not taking it seriously, or is it my nafs a little bit bored with it now? So try to realize that there is an internal battle going on inside you, and you have a nafs, and that nafs might be alive and kicking. You need to make it go to sleep. Yes.
Just a question for myself and maybe for others.
Ask the question for yourself.
If for example, if I am battling with this nafs that sometimes he wants to do, sometimes he doesn't want to do, the battle goes on and on and on. So sometimes I give in, sometimes I overpower it. Is that a healthy state? Is it towards going the right way, or am I really floundering?
No, that's mashallah, it's a positive state. The person is, when you're in the struggle, you see, when you're doing something which is hard, you are improving. When you're doing something which is easy, you're not improving. So this is when a person is struggling with the nafs, sometimes they lose, sometimes they win. This is a struggle, and so this is successful, as long as you carry on. When the person gives up and says, I give in, my nafs is saying to me, watch this evil program, and you give in, and then not only do you just do that day, but you do it for a whole month, then you've given in now completely. So, but if you did it that one time and the day after you repent and say, I'm never doing it again, and maybe a month or 2 months you last, so you're up and down, this is a type of success itself, because he's on the journey to complete success. The complete success, you could say, the real success is when you enter Jannah, but in terms of this, is when the nafs goes to sleep. And what that means is when it doesn't fight you in terms of doing good anymore. When it doesn't fight you, but rather when it helps you to do good. When it helps you do good things. For example, Itekaf, if your nafs is more happy being here than in any other place in the world, that's a good sign. This is a good sign, because the nafs likes the goodness. If the nafs likes this atmosphere of good people and nice speeches and good amals, this is a good sign of the nafs. Most people in Itekaf generally have something good in their nafs. That's why they're here. The ones who don't, they won't be here because they don't like this environment. So yes, mashallah, that is a positive, and the person should continue, but he should consciously realize that I'm in this struggle and I'm going to carry on. When he forgets, he gives up. But when you realize you're there, you don't stop. So this is the matter. This I was mentioning because this is one of the obstacles for many people, and they hear it but they don't realize it within themselves. You will never realize it until you look inside. Until you look within yourself, you won't realize it. And knowledge doesn't take this away. No matter how knowledgeable, no matter how old or young, it's irrelevant. The nafs doesn't look at your knowledge or your age or your company. It doesn't. You might be sitting with the growth of the time. The nafs, it won't become purified just by you sitting with someone. It doesn't. So it becomes purified when you fight it. Only then. So now, inshallah, the amal which we're going to do first, inshallah, is called munajat. And munajat is a very, very special, powerful amal which a person can do. And inshallah, what does munajat mean? Munajat means speaking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the heart. Silent communication. So now we're going to do silent communication, but every 5 minutes I'm going to tell you what I want you to focus on. That what to speak to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala about now. And why have I mentioned about the nafs being bored? Because in munajat, the nafs gets bored. In munajat, your nafs might become bored. And if your nafs becomes bored in munajat, then you say to it, Oh nafs, you can be as bored as you want. You can go to sleep. I don't care. I'm going to carry on speaking to my Lord as much as I want. So, and that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to see in you. He wants to see, do you choose the nafs or do you choose me? And that's why Allah mentioned in the Holy Quran that, have you not seen he who has made his nafs his God? He does everything the nafs wants to do. He doesn't do what Allah wants him to do. If you really are Allah's servant, you don't care how you feel. Your feelings are irrelevant. I feel happy today, I feel sad, I feel angry, I feel upset. My feelings are irrelevant. I put them aside because those feelings are from the nafs. All I care about is Allah's pleasure. And that's how it should be. So now inshallah, try to sit comfortably. And with munajat, there is no preparation before it, because munajat itself is the preparation for all other deeds. Before we do the ascension and before we do all of them, there is actually a communication with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taking place. And so this munajat that we're going to do now, it really comes before everything. Even because of munajat, your intention becomes rectified. By doing munajat, so in one sense it like becomes before intention, because munajat rectifies the intention. Speaking to Allah Azza wa Jal with the heart even rectifies your intention. No one else can hear what you're saying with the heart, so there is no ostentation, there's no showing off, because I'm not going to do this out loud, it's going to be silent. So now what I want you to do is, inshallah, for 5 minutes, inshallah, I want you to speak to Allah Azza wa Jal with the heart about the problems in your life, the problems that you face, any misfortune that you're going through. I want you to focus only on those things and seek Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's help, beseech Him, beg Him, and mention your problems to Him. So inshallah, now we're going to do this for 5 minutes, and then the next 5 minutes I'll mention the next thing to focus, and then the last 5 minutes, and then you can give feedback, inshallah. So bismillah, now begin. Now, inshallah, mention and speak to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala about all the blessings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you. And focus only on being grateful for different blessings. Do not focus upon any of the misfortunes now. Mention them and thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and mention how we cannot thank you, O Allah, enough, and we can never thank you as you deserve. Now, inshallah, speak to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala about Himself, and try not to use the word I or myself or me. Do not speak anything about your life and yourself. Speak to Allah Azza wa Jal only about Himself. say words like, Allah, you are the most forgiving of all those who forgive. You are the most loving of all those who love. You are the most kind of all those who show kindness. You are the most caring of all those who care. You are the most appreciative of all those who appreciate. You appreciate the most smallest things which are done. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. So now, inshallah, if anyone would like to share their experience, and no vision is required for munajat. So I'm not asking anyone's vision. I'm talking about your experience with communicating with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this in three ways, and how you feel it benefited you, if it was different to something that you've ever done before, and so on. So is there anything anyone would like to say? Yes. Wa alaikum assalam. MashaAllah. So a few things, mashallah, is very positive, very good. One thing to say is that when you want it to last for hours and you do let it last for an hour or so, that's a very good sign, like of the nafs I was saying before. When the nafs enjoys goodness, this is a sign of a positive type of nafs, the nafs mutma'inna type. So when the nafs likes goodness, but then the time will come where even that goodness has to stop. For example, the time of Sahri will come, so we have to stop tahajjud. We can't be praying more tahajjud if we have to have Sahri. Or Fajr will come, you can't be reciting Quran at that time. Or the sleep time will come, it's not time for zikr. So even though the nafs will like the goodness, you still have to take it away from that to the thing that Allah wants you to do at that time. So what does this mean? What does this show? You're not even taking the nafs from something bad to something good. You're taking it from something good to the very thing which Allah wants at the time. And that shows where it needs to be. And that's nafs radiya, which is the nafs which is only pleased with Allah's will. Whatever Allah wants, that's what it wants, not what I want at that time. So feeling the sukoon and the sakina and the peace, that's also a good thing. But the obstacle in there, or the trap in there, is really a trap. The trap in there is when you do it for the peace. Yeah. So that's why I mentioned about the boredom and things like this. When you realize that I don't care whether I feel peace, I don't care whether I feel bored, I don't care whether I feel happy, excited, my feeling is irrelevant. All that matters is that I am communicating with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I'm worshipping Him. This is a worship. So even you feel peace or you don't feel peace, it doesn't matter. Whether you feel happy, you don't feel happy, it doesn't matter. Those feelings, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala changes them so that He tests you to see, do you still want me, or are you pleased with the feeling? Allah Azza wa Jalla is the source of peace, so He can give peace, but He can take peace away. Now, when your peace is taken away and you still worship Allah, you still do the munajat for an hour and you don't feel like it, that's when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sees that this my servant is worshipping me and he wants me. He's not after the peace. So Allah Azza wa Jalla knows already, but He tests us. So what you should be thinking is that when the day comes when I don't want to do munajat for an hour, when my nafs doesn't want to do munajat for an hour, and if I then can do it for an hour, that's the sign that I, alhamdulillah, have a relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Otherwise, speaking to Allah Azza wa Jalla for a long time and feeling happy in there, that is itself a good thing, because many people don't do this as a start. But that higher level is what I'm telling you about the next step. So the next step is, one day will come when you don't feel like this. It will come. That day will come, so be prepared. And when that day comes, then tell yourself, this is the day when now I need to do this again, but I will speak to Allah Azza wa Jalla for an hour, even if I don't feel the peace, because I don't want the peace. That peace, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not peace. In the sense, my feeling peace, that's not Allah. Allah, one of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's names is As-Salam, He is the source of peace. But this feeling of peace I feel, that isn't Allah. This is a feeling. Does this make sense? Yeah. So, alhamdulillah, it's a very positive thing, but I want you to be aware of the trap with it, which is lurking in there as well. So, because not many, but some, they experience that, but then when the day comes that they don't feel the peace, then they become misguided because they don't feel the peace anymore. But the principle was that you're not after the peace, you're after the pleasure and the closeness of Allah Azza wa Jal, and whether you feel peace or not doesn't mean Allah is pleased or displeased. Your feeling has nothing to do with Allah's pleasure and displeasure. You should never judge, is Allah pleased with me based on how I feel. Disconnect them completely. Allah is pleased with you based on how much following of the Sharia and Sunnah of the Holy Prophet ﷺ you're doing. So ask yourself, how much obedience am I doing with the body, with the mind, with the heart? Then you'll know, is Allah pleased with me or not. You won't know, but you have a sign. Okay? So, is this okay? Jazakallah. So, anybody else would like to share? Is this your first time doing munajat? Because after these 10 days, then like this, maybe you won't have the chance. But if you do it every day, imagine then what type of relationship. I know one person who speaks to his wife abroad for 3 hours every day. So if you can speak to your wife abroad for 3 hours every day, why can we not speak to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when He knows everything that there is to know about us? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Quran, whether you reveal it or you conceal it, Allah knows. But what's the right reaction and wrong reaction? Both are mentioned in the verse. You reveal it is the right reaction, and you conceal it is the wrong reaction. So don't conceal anything from Allah, reveal everything to Him. Tell Him everything. So, Professor, would you like to share your experience? Yes. So this is what I wanted someone to ask, because the first two we all do. Who doesn't mention, oh Allah, I have this problem, and oh Allah, thank you for this. That's good as well, you should be doing this. But the third one, that one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala likes very much. So when you speak to the king about the king only, imagine you go to a king and you say, oh king, can you please give me, I have this problem, I need this wealth, save me. The king gives you something and okay, now go away, you're saved. Now imagine the other person comes, he doesn't ask for anything, I don't want anything, but oh king, thank you for giving me this, thank you, you've given me so much, thank you. The king is happy, that's fine, my servant, that's good. But now the third person comes and he doesn't ask for anything, he doesn't even say, thank you for giving me all these things. He doesn't want to know himself, he only wants to know the king, and he says, oh king, you are the most beautiful, the perfect one, everything in creation praises you. You are the most beautiful of all those who have beauty, the most loving of all those who love. Love itself was created to love you. What wonderful words can be said then. So he's just singing the praises of the king. To such an extent, he forgot himself. So when you read in the books of the Mashayikh, when they did, they said things like, I am the one by which the earth revolves around the sun. And they were not referring to themselves, because that moment they forgot themselves. They didn't exist. What were they doing in that time when they said this? They were doing munajat, like we did just now. So they were doing munajat with the king, speaking to him about himself. And when you do this, imagine the king, how much he will like that servant. And the king will say that, oh servant, you haven't asked for anything, but I will give you everything. And But the servant still, he doesn't want things. He doesn't want any of the kingdom. He's not interested. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could create another kingdom, another paradise. It's easy for him. But there is no replacement for Allah himself. Allah Azza wa Jal. Azza wa Jal, there's no two, there's no second. So does it make more sense? Is it logical? Does it make more sense to desire the one who, to desire the thing which there can be millions of? There can be millions of Jannats. To desire more hurs, there can be billions of them. And the trees and the palaces. Recite Subhanallah, there's another. Does it make more sense to desire more trees and more of them? Or does it make sense to desire the one for which there is no other? He is the real jewel, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the real, He's the real gift, He's the real reward. So these other things, they're not the real reward. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself, it's not my norm to do this. This is He's the real reward. So with this type of munajat, and then so your question was based upon how a person can do this. Practice, so a person has to practice, and the more practice you do, then inshallah the more a person will be able to do this. So what types of things can you think about? Well, if a person memorizes the 99 names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and learns them, then they can talk to Allah Azza wa Jalla about every single name, about every single one of His qualities. And the more of the creation that you ponder upon, the more you can speak to Allah about that creation. That, oh Allah, how wonderful the sun and the earth and the moon is that you've created in this system. So are you talking about yourself? No, you're talking about the painting of the painter, the artist. You're talking about his creation. Don't talk about yourself, but talk about him and his creation. So this is the way to do it. Those two things, the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, talk about them and His blessed attributes and qualities, and then the creation of Allah Azza wa Jalla. And then with them, a person will drown in the ocean of love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they'll forget themselves. So if there's anyone else that wants to say anything, yes, brother. Wa alaikum salam. The time isn't really what's important, it's the quality that's important. So it's like you could do an hour, but a person has still been thinking about the world and other things. So you could spend a minute, if you look at the hadith and the du'as of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, they're very short, but every one of them is a munajat. And so the quality is what's important. And one way to improve that quality is that in that moment, in that time, that you shut out the whole world. It's like the family don't exist now. The child, if you have children, they don't exist in this time. The wife, the husband don't exist. The work and the business doesn't exist. So this is a mindset right now. We're in Itekaf, we're in this mosque. Even for me, the people upstairs don't exist anymore, because I'm not with them, I'm with you. So only you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala exist as such. So why? Then I'm present with you in this moment. Now I'm present with you. But if my mind is still upon something else, the family, the work, and all these other things, I won't be present with you. And in munajat, there is not even this hall and these people. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then becomes present. And that should be the case with salah and the prayer, that in there only Allah is present, no one else is present. Which is why if you think that Allah is reciting and you are listening, even the Imam is not present. So how can a person laugh at the Imam? It's like he's saying he's laughing at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, imagine. So do you see? So the quality is important. The way to improve the quality is that think that it's a mindset change. Think only this exists and everything else has perished. I have even perished and only Allah exists. That's a higher level. Don't need to think that yet. But the people have perished, my work has perished, my family have perished, everything's perished. It's just me and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then the level beyond that is only Allah, there's no me. And then that's why the third one person practices like this. So if you want to improve it, 10 minutes is a good amount of time. 15 is fine as well. But if you want to improve it, then the first level in the second stage, redo this level, and that is not the first level, the second level in the second stage. That speak to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala before every action. Before every action that you do, speak to Him. So before sitting down, oh Allah Azza wa Jalla, thank you for the legs which you have given me with which to sit. When you stand up, oh Allah, thank you for giving me these legs with which I walk. Does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forget to make our heart beats? No, He doesn't. But we forget to remember Him with everything that we do. So speak to Him with everything that you do. You're doing a munajat throughout the 24 hours. That's the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. This is the sunnah. If you recite the du'as just as a recital, then you're following the shell. But if you say them from your heart and from your own words as well, then you've got the spirit. Because those words are His blessed words. We follow them, but imagine they came from Himself. They came from within. So now you need a word and words and sentence to come from within you to speak to Allah at that time. And that will be the spirit for you. So that's why learning the du'as with the meaning is important, because it needs to come from the heart. So is there any other questions anyone wants to ask about munajat? We'll practice this every 2 days, and there is a different amal to do tomorrow. Yes.
For example, like we say Ascension, or concentrating on the namaz, for example, thoughts. These thoughts come, I do it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, nothing else. Nafs comes in and say, no, I'm not doing it. I remember I changed. But these are the things which are constantly a struggle, and this is my situation. But alhamdulillah, I know, let's say if I go back 5 years and say remembrance of Allah in doing physical things and asking for permission, etc., and pray, asking for other people, has increased, definitely has increased.
MashaAllah. So above every person is another person. What this means is that you should always be thinking about the next step. How can I go higher? What can I do next to become the better version of myself? So wherever you are, now you've looked at 5 years ago, from where I am now 5 years ago, where I was then, and there's an improvement. And alhamdulillah, that's a good sign. Now you should be looking at where I am today, where I want to be tomorrow. And tomorrow you want to become better than you were today. So always compare yourself with you could say your yesterday. That yesterday, how was I? I want to be better than that. I need to be better than that. So this way, every day you'll be improving. So now if you are remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with all these different actions, the next thing to make sure is that, am I saying them like parrot fashion, or am I saying them with the spirit, with my heart? Because sometimes we say them, even in English, oh Allah, every time I put my shoes on, I say, oh Allah, keep me guided on the right path. Oh Allah, prevent me from going astray. That's just something I say. But is it now just parrot words, or is it with the heart connected? So you need to make sure that that is still present. And sometimes people say Allah is with me, but the thought of Allah with them hasn't even entered their mind, but they're saying the words. So this happens. So you need to be aware, am I just saying them parrot fashion, or am I really delving into the spirit of it? So this is the case, inshallah. So inshallah, there isn't lots of time, um, but we can still do an ascension, a short gathering if people feel up to it, or if you want to rest or do anything else, then you can. Any preferences? More? Do you want to do it? That's fine. So if anybody wants to take a break or do anything, refresh them, they can. If anybody wants to participate, then inshallah they can as well. So now inshallah we'll begin with, so you've done the preparation and the munajat. Now we're going, remember what I said about this is a chance for you to practice this. The nafs is feeling, oh, I'm tired, I want to do this, I want to rest, I want to do something else. This is your chance to internally see, why am I doing this? There's only you few here, and the brother Shalom is going through other things with people upstairs, because this is a different level of that we're talking about. This internal battle, even within the amal, it's something else. So this is something for you to practice and to take away with you, inshallah. And now is your chance to do it. So if the nafs feels this way, battle it now. Now is the time. So now, alhamdulillah, begin with the reliance upon Allah Azza wa Jal. Think that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, without you, O Allah, I will never be able to travel to you. On my own, I cannot do anything, but with you, everything's possible. Enter the state of humbleness and think that, oh Allah, we carry filth around with us in our bodies. Our blood is filthy. Our waste is filthy and it's inside us. We were created from filthy drop as well. So, oh Allah, I am filthy. I am impure. I am in need, and you are the most pure. Subhanallah means, oh Allah, you are pure beyond perfection. There is no imperfection in you. Think about your own imperfection and then how perfect Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. Now think about the gratefulness and the knowledge that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving to us and bestowing upon us about how to reach Him and how to please Him. And this type of knowledge is not to be taken for granted. Now if you recite Surah Fatiha, Ayatul Kursi and the three calls once, blow on the hands and rub on the bodies. Now if you recite Bismillah and Astaghfar, Durud Sharif and La Hawla wa La Quwwata illa Billah. So now inshallah we'll do 7 breaths on each lataif. So now if you begin with the white Latifa, imagine the blessed name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is above our heads in the middle of this gathering. The blessed name is in white. The light from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's blessed name will enter the entire body from head to toe, and it will focus its energy and its cleaning power on the white Latifa above the head. As you breathe in, the light will enter, and as you breathe out, the filth and darkness is removed from behind the white Latifa. So now inshallah 7 breaths each if you begin. Now if you begin with the red, the blessed name is in red, and the Latifa, the red Latifa is below the belly button in the groin area. And now if you begin with the orange Latifa, which is in the belly button area. Now if you begin with the yellow Latifa, which is above the belly button and below the chest. green latifa, which is in the center of the chest. Now, if you begin the light blue latifa, which is in the throat area. Now, if you begin with the dark blue latifa, which is in the center of the forehead. And now, if you begin with the white latifa, which is above the head. begin to visualize the vertical pipe which is inside you, aligned with your spinal cord, is connecting the red latifa all the way to the white latifa. And continue breathing as you are. As you breathe in, imagine that the light is going down, and as you breathe up, that the light from the red to the white is going up. The light is multicolored and it is activating all of the lataif. Now with every breath, the body will become lighter and lighter. Imagine that it's about to disintegrate. Now with each breath, one latifa will stop. And the red has stopped. The green. Now only your breath and your spirit remain. Continue breathing as you are. And now begin to imagine the image of your spiritual body in front of you, as though you are looking into a mirror and you can see your reflection. On this case, you can even see the details and the color of your spiritual body. It's as though you can see yourself in a wonderful decorated form, like you are attending a palace, like a wedding, but even much more beautifully decorated, and the clothes are not of this world. Continue breathing, and when you are ready, after 2 or 3 breaths, then blow the golden breath and transfer your conscience, your spirit, both into your spiritual body. And now, in an instant, we are already present in a different place, in a different world. It is like an enormous palace. The roof and the ceiling is so high it almost cannot be seen. Like a ballroom, marble floor. Everything is incredibly clean, big, very big, tall windows. And you are all dressed in wonderful, beautiful dress. Your faces are shining. Even light is coming out of your eyes. Now the ground has disappeared, the earth below us has disappeared, and it is like we are walking on air. We can look down and see birds flying below us and clouds below us, and you can look down and see wonderful sceneries, but you are not falling. Outside, the wall is opening, and you can see wonderful, enormous waterfalls. You can hear the trees singing a different type of song, and their echoing and their singing is making every cell in your body vibrate in the same frequency as that tree and as that song. All the cells of your body, you are looking upon them, and you can feel them and see them singing the praise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even your hair is praising Allah Azza wa Jal. Your hands are speaking and praising Him. Your body is worshipping Allah Azza wa Jal even without you intending, and it's remembering Him. This wonderful palace that we are in really seems to be a ship and a wonderful vehicle taking us higher and higher and showing us different sceneries, but it is going upwards and it is traveling somewhere. It is connected to a rope, and from other directions we can see that there are other palaces with people inside them, and they are also connected to ropes, and all these vehicles are heading towards one center. A blessed voice is saying to us, you are today going to meet your Lord. So decorate yourselves with the most beautiful decorations. And your Lord is pleased to see you. Our ship and vehicle has stopped upon a blessed mountain top, and from there you have, like eagle eyes, you can look into the distance, and no distance is a restriction for your eyesight. You can see so far into the distance. There are other worlds and planets within this place where we are. And you can see that within the tip of a pin, you can, with your eyesight, you can see another world exist on the tip of the pin. And with your eyesight, you can enter that world and even see that world. A blessed voice is saying, this is the difference in the size of paradise for different people. For some it is the tip of a pin, but for him itself, it is 10 times this kingdom of earth. But for another outside, he can see it like the tip of a pin. So which paradise do you want? And where will you go? close your eyes to all of this and open them only when you meet your Lord. Now we have been brought before a place where there is a golden veil. The veil is so vast as far as the eye can see, on the left and the right, and up and below this golden veil is present. It is like a very heavy curtain, and it is very beautiful in its own decorations. It is like glittering with light, as though light is coming off of the veil and passing through it. And a blessed voice is saying, a day will come when this will happen. This is my decree. I will reveal myself only to my humble servants. Be amongst them, for this life is your only chance. When your death will come, your option to excel will cease to exist. But I will choose from amongst you those of you who even after death will continue to excel by helping the people in the world. Be amongst these servants of mine, Abdul Aziz and Abdul Qadir. Become them. They were all once in your shoes. O my servants, the path is clear before you. If you do not walk upon it, it will crumble below you. Now travel the path, and you will find me waiting. Now we are speaking, and we are begging our Lord each one of you is begging in a different way and with different words. Some of you are speaking and begging Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the problems of your life and in your worldly life. And others are saying that, oh Allah, I only want you. And yet others are saying, oh Allah, there is no I, there is only you. The veil is about to lift, but we are being pulled back into the palace-like vehicle which is taking us down the track. You can see the birds flying, and some of you have jumped upon the birds. You have become in control of these birds, and you are flying in this paradise, seeing the wonderful sceneries to see, the rivers and the trees and the warm air and the peace. And now the vehicle has brought us here in this blessed mosque, and we are descending from it, walking down the stairs. And we are saying, O our Lord, in a day to come, in a day to come. And now you have taken off your wonderful garments that you are wearing, and you have returned back into your blessed bodies. But some do not want to open their eyes and do not want to leave the thought of where we have come from. But you must understand that the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is greater than the feeling that you may have. And so now we must open our eyes and finish. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta. Does anybody have any questions or problems or difficulty that they'd like to clarify or ask, and also if there's any guidance that they'd like to clarify? Yes. Wa alaikum assalam. MashaAllah. The different animals and crabs and things that you see, they are, it's a sign that each latifa and each lataif, that you have many different obstacles in the life that you're living, and these different distractions, that you still have them to resolve. And once that they're resolved, it's not, you see, it's not that the problems of the life have to be resolved. This isn't the case, because until death, problems will exist. For some of us, when we do the 5-minute munajat talking to Allah Azza wa Jalla about the problems, a person can't think of any problems. Why is this? It's because you don't look at the problem as a problem. If you look at the problem as a problem, then it's a problem. Then many things in life can be problems. There are many people who they don't have problems, but they make problems out of nothing. So until death, difficulties and problems will take place, but the real matter is how you deal with the problem, how you look at that problem, and how you react to it. If you have this mindset, then problems don't exist anymore, but rather you look at them as stepping stones to take me closer to Allah. So let me give you an example. Example is, let's say a person has an issue with their husband or wife, and they can think this, oh, I have this major problem, when will I get rid of this problem? They might think the only way to solve the problem is to separate, to leave them, or that they change forcefully, or whatever it is. But if they look at it in a different way, that this person is purifying me, this person is, through this act which they've done to me, I can become forbearance, I can attain forbearance. Through this problem that this person has done and said this to me, I can attain this quality. This person is swearing at me, I can do good to him. This person backbites me, I can pray for him, and his reward, his good deeds are coming to me, so I should be happy. So do you see, if you do mindset changes, many people, when other people are saying bad things about them behind their back, they think that I must defend my name, I have to go and sort this out. You don't have to sort anything out. If someone's saying bad things about you behind your back, leave it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah will sort it out for you. As soon as you interfere, Allah's help will be gone. And that's the case once the Holy Prophet with Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anh, the one person was saying bad things to them, and Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq stayed quiet, but eventually he couldn't tolerate, so he said something back. So the Holy Prophet walked away. And then Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anh, ran to them and said, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, please forgive me, have I done something wrong? And the Holy Prophet told him that when you stayed quiet, Allah assigned an angel to speak on your behalf. But when you spoke, then the angel left, so I left. So I'm showing you that if you look at the problem, like this person swearing at you, in a different way, that now he's swearing at me, but Allah will send someone else to speak on my behalf. I don't need to do anything, and I am safe, and I can pray for this person, I can say good things to him. Now you look at the problem in a different way, then the problems don't exist anymore. So these different crabs and other things that you see, they are the things in your life that you're seeing as problems, and each latifa is being affected by them in a different way. And if you identify what they are, it's not that you have to get rid of the problem, it's that you have to change your mindset regarding the problem. Unless it's something within the person themselves that they have a deficiency and a sin or anything like this, then yes, that needs to be changed. But if it's external to you, like the other people, then you can look at it in a different way. Don't look at it as a problem, but think about the right reaction. Ask someone what the right reaction is for this incident, and then implement that, and that will no longer be an obstacle for you. Does this make sense? What time is Iftari today? Does anybody know? 46, okay. So if anybody wants to do fresh wudu or anything, then they can. If anyone wants to stay and ask any more questions, till about 42 is fine, inshallah. Inshallah. Yes, brother. Wa alaikum salam. It's fine. Sure. No, that's fine. That is the truth, because these mindsets, if like the one I just mentioned about problems, if you see them as not problems but as stepping stones, then problems in your life don't exist anymore instantly. But it requires a mindset change. And then imagine there are people who are millionaires and 100,000 heirs. Alhamdulillah, there are many rich people and they're very, very good. Many people who don't have wealth, they think negative of people who have wealth. There are many people who have wealth and they are very good. They give 95% of their wealth to charity. So you should never think down of them. But there are some people who have wealth and their problems are something different. Their problem is, where must I put my money to gain more money? That's their problem. That's their level of problem. So everyone's level of problems is different, but you just don't have to look at it as a problem. Look at it as a, how can I use this incident in my life to get me close to Allah Azza wa Jal. See, there's a saying that the real seekers of Allah seek Him in every moment. In every moment. So to search for Allah is not a path, a physical path that you follow. You search for Him in every moment. What does that mean? How do I please Allah now? What must I do to please Him now, to gain closeness now? And whatever that is, you do that. So these things are principles are life-changing. They are. If you take them, you can transform completely. If otherwise, Itekaf will come this year, it will come next year, and things may have just been the same in that year. But you have the potential. You have that potential. Compete with yourself. This is why I say that you don't need to compete with anyone else. You're competing, you're trying to become the best version of yourself. That who am I now? Who do I want to be tomorrow? Who do I want to be next year? My competition is myself, not anyone else. And if you can do this, then inshallah, every day you'll become a better and better and better version of yourself. And if you've completed the course, then don't think that this is the end. If you've done parts of the Ascension, don't think this is the end. There is still much more that can be achieved. Much more that can be achieved. And those things are achievable, inshallah. So on that note, inshallah, we'll finish and then we'll make our way upstairs. Jazakallah for this gathering. Subhanakallah wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka